He definitely stirred up the music news in Serbia the last time he was here. Definitely. And a lot of top tier musicians gathered to have a listen to this important figure in music business. And that's actually a true testament of how great his art is. And I'm really, really glad he's our guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gino Vannelli. Gino, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nicola.
And first and foremost, welcome to this rock radio family. We're really, really glad to have you here. Are you accustomed to Serbia by now? I mean, since you already had a
Well, we were here
concert.
a few months ago, and I was very surprised how deeply involved the audience is into music. Mm-hmm. Very sensitive to music. And also, I mean, it was my first brush with the culture. And because nobody really understands Serbia that very well, especially North America. And
they often think it's Siberia.
No, it's just they don't understand the food, the taste people have here, and how people carry themselves, and what they believe in, and things like that. And so you have to really be in a country for more than one day to start to understand that. And I'm starting to understand that now.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad to hear that. It's a bit different here, but audience is always really, really cool and awesome.
They are. And I was quite surprised with our last concert, yes.
Yeah, we like hearing those stories, so I thank you we'll take that as a compliment,
it
as
is a
they say.
compliment, yes.
How was it, by the way, the last concert?
I had a lot of fun.
Was it May? Sorry.
I had a lot of fun. I think the band was really top-notch. We had been performing in Europe. Mm-hmm. I think it was our last concert. We were well taken care of, and like I said, I was really impressed with the audience. They knew a lot of the songs. I think they knew all of the songs, which was, we went back to 1974 with some of the material. So, of course, it's modernized a little bit here and there. But I was impressed. Yeah,
a lot of guys, since I'm a musician as well, a lot of my friends went completely nuts when they heard you're here. And I think they will go completely nuts again. But we'll talk about primarily about your upcoming big concerts. But I gotta ask some questions. Since your name really holds some weight in music, let's be frank, and you've collaborated with a lot of people. With whom would you like to collaborate on a piece of music, but haven't been able to do so yet?
That's a very good question. Well, I'll think about that. And
dead or alive? Okay.
Dead or alive?
Okay, let's make it alive. Okay, let's make it more
let's
real.
Let's go to the next question, and by the fourth question, I'll give you the answer.
Okay, right. I'll wait for you. Don't worry. While you were making music throughout your career, what was the thought process? Actually, have you ever had any expectations, or you just proceeded to make music the way you like to hear music? Or by expectations, I mean, did you ever had any calculations or expectations? Okay, I gotta do this now. This one should be a hit or more poppy or groovy or whatever. Do you do those stuff at all?
Well, making music is a balancing act, because you can always sing in the shower and that's it. So if you have to make music, people have to make money when you make your music, because they won't put your record out. A record company won't do anything if they don't make any money on it. So there's always a very delicate balancing act between art and commerce. Mm-hmm. So, most artists, even the best artists, always have one eye on, or one ear on commerce and one ear on art. And when the commerce starts to infiltrate too much into the art, then something's wrong. And when you don't think about the commerce at all, then it's very likely that you won't be making music very long, or you'll be just singing in the shower. So like I say, it's a delicate. We spoke about that even with your radio station. That you have to always balancing things out. Also, I have great musicians with me, and they like to play. So I write new arrangements, and sometimes I rearrange some of the older songs, so it's more challenging for them, and it's It's more interesting for audiences after all these years. So, but like I said, though, it's truly a balancing act. As far as starting out, careers always start off with, you don't have an exact idea, but you know that you want to go in a certain direction. You know, it's the arts, or
it's intuitive in a way.
Yes,
Yeah,
it really is. It's almost like it's bothering you. It's like an itch you can't get to.
That's a perfect definition of that problem.
Then you start making music, and the itch starts to be satisfied a little bit.
Yeah, little by little.
And then the
probably.
next itch is that you want to master the craft, or you want to make your best album ever. You want to write your best songs, produce your best record, and so the itch never really goes away.
It didn't went away.
No,
at all.
no. We just handed in a brand new record to Sony. It's going to be coming out, the first single November 1st, second single in January, then the record comes out in February.
Nice.
So, for me, it's always a serious business to record an album.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of that phenomenon, like recording new music, I always think about John Mayer's sentence. I think he said something like, the world is completely okay without your new song. But if you have a new experience or something new that you want to say and feel, heck yeah, let's make that song and let's do it. But if you don't mean it and feel it completely in your guts, nobody needs it, really. So do you, just to add to this question, do you sometimes when you hit the plateau or something like that, do you think you need some new experiences, or you need to get away from music? Just to say something new.
Yeah, I mean, I've never done this, but more so even today or in the last few albums, I cannot write a song unless I have an objective. In other words, a theme that I got to get off my chest, a theme I need to write about, and
something to heal. Actually, some wound or something like that.
Or like you're saying, an experience or a circumstance. Like, for instance, there's a song called Yet Something Beautiful. And it was totally inspired because I was in a cafe sitting down, and a woman walked in, I guess it was her husband in a wheelchair, and he was in trouble. And I was so taken and impressed by her patience and her dignity and how she treated him, that I must write a song about this, because it's not an easy life to be a caregiver.
No, not an easy one. Yeah,
exactly. So things like that happen, and this album is full of those kind of things. I like narrative stories. I like stories that I could actually almost read through the lyrics without hearing the music, and the lyrics make total sense, and actually they take me somewhere.
Yeah, and that empathetic moment that you mentioned, where you are not in that situation, I think Sting does that a lot. And you write a song about somebody else's experience. That's some deep stuff, man. Yeah.
Sometimes you can. Sometimes it's your own experience. Sometimes it's someone else's experience. Sometimes it's an imaginative experience. It doesn't really matter. But it's really about thinking about something that gets to you in some way that you need to talk about. It's almost like the topic of conversation at the table. You need to say something that you've been thinking about for a while. And if an artist doesn't have that, then the writing is really superficial.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Yeah. And while you're writing, do you always go from scratch, or do you cook it while it's hot, or whatever you say? Or sometimes it happens that in a drawer you have some really cool riff from 80s something.
Yeah, of course.
And you just use it because it's finally time. Or do you think those ideas can go bad and fermented?
It's anything. Sometimes it's an old riff and you put a new twist to it. But usually for me, it's I carry a notebook or on my phone, and I have an idea for a lyric, and I write it down, and sometimes I'll finish the whole lyric. Many times, like for instance, on the Good Thing record that came out, it was all lyrics first, and then I set music to it. But many times it's music and I set words to it. It doesn't matter. It could be either or. It's a reverse engineering process in a sense. And when you write lyrics first, you have to be ready to edit a lot, because it's sort of poetic, and then certain lines you have to skip. But the theme is there, and some of the great lines that you want to say are there, and then it's a question of just editing it. But definitely, it's anything any technique works.
Anything that works, yeah.
Yes, and the final analysis and the final judgment is really, what does a song sound like? Is it a good song? Is it a good production?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like writing lyrics first. I don't know, maybe some lyrics could point the right direction in some percussive element, because words are
well, when I write lyrics first, I usually
I
keep it in meter, and I say, well, this is going to be like a 6/8 or a 4/4 or a cut time 2/4 or a ballad.
You already have that.
And so if I write the lyric, I keep that rhythm in mind.
Okay, yeah.
And then as I read through the lyric and I go to the piano, and if it's a 6/8, I'm going and I go, okay, there it fits right there, and I'll start writing the music to it and thinking, and then I pencil this line out, this line in, and you get a different kind of song when you write a lyric first.
Yeah, I guess so. But speaking of rhythm, I think a lot of musicians would maybe like to know that. I mean, it's maybe obvious if somebody knows the whole catalog of yours, but do you maybe find yourself that ideas in your head, are they often in one rhythm?
No,
like my ideas are often 6/8 or 3/4. I don't know why, but often I don't know. It pulls me towards that. Do you have something like that?
No,
or?
I go back to my drumming days.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I want to write something, or I want to write something, or in 7/8 or 5/4 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think of all kinds of rhythms, and sometimes I'll just go to my drum kit and just start to play rhythms. I want to write something in that feel. So I keep it in mind as that I'm writing the lyrics or writing the music on the piano. I hear it as if the drummer is playing it.
Oh yeah, and then the feel of the song is already
respond
obvious.
To it.
Cool.
Yes.
What do you listen to nowadays? And do you have any guilty pleasures maybe that you want to share with us?
To tell you the truth, I listen. There's a piano player from Georgia. Her Katia Bushneville, I think it.
Okay.
She's a classical player. She's just so phenomenal. If you want to hear someone play the piano.
Katia Bushnevilla.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'll Google it.
Such a phenomenal. She'll play Rachmaninoff and some of the classic things. So relaxed, so perfectly. So each note she's really, really just one of the greatest piano players as far as classical music in the world. And of course, I always go back to Keith Jarrett and people like that, to listen to real jazz pianists. And of course, now we have YouTube, so you can just go to this video, that video, and you listen to Bill Evans, his concert in Scandinavia, and then you listen to Oscar Peterson, his concert, at the Vanguard, Village Vanguard, and
exactly,
and Melody Gardot's new single, and so it's amazing how you can just go from track to track to track.
Traits of modern world.
That is the modern world, but it's great that you have it,
exactly.
Because the days of sitting down and just putting a full album down, maybe once in a while, but a lot of us don't have an hour and a half to spare to listen to something completely. Maybe at night, in the background. But I usually pick a few artists and I listen to a lot of stuff. I get on a kick for a while. Like I wanted to listen to a lot of Errol Garner's stuff. And I just went back to 1950, 52, 3, 4, 5, up to the 60s.
Okay.
I listened to like 30, videos of his, or Sarah Vaughan. When she just started off. Or once in a while, the other day I wanted to listen to all of Crosby, Stills and Nash stuff.
Oh yeah.
So you start,
understandable.
Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, and you work your way up in how they made the Deja Vu album, and who wrote what, and so they had a couple of specials on that, and how David Crosby wrote this riff, and Stephen Stills added this and added that. Same thing. I listen to the whole Marvin Gaye album. What's going on. So I mean, it's a great thing to be able to do today, because you can really be a listener plus a musicologist.
Yeah. And times are different. Not a lot of people listen to the whole album just in 1 hour, but I do my best. I try to. I think it's like reading a good book or watching a movie. Just sit down and listen to it.
You get a full album and you'd end up having 2 or 3 favorite cuts that you'd play more often.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. I think
Sometimes
that's true.
I'd skip a certain cut on an Elton John album. The first 2 cuts, those are the ones I really like, or something like that. So it was always a little bit that way.
Kind of. So yeah, it's cool to have that option to skip it and choose whatever you like. But yeah, now there is a question: is an album a thing to do? Actually, I think because of the format and digital and blah blah blah. You still think it is?
Yes, I think it is, because there are those people who enjoy that. It's a select audience.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The mainstream audience. But for the artist, if the artist just starts recording 1 song at a time or 2 songs at a time, I believe you lose your artistry. Because for instance, hardcover books don't sell that much, but they're still around and they're great to have.
Right.
And I don't think records don't sell that much anymore, but they're still great to record, to have around, play live. And also you exercise your writing capabilities.
Yeah, and telling a story, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you don't feel like an artist. And now, maybe if you were born, in the year 2001, you don't feel the same way.
I think so too.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is normal.
I made music in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and that was the thing to do, to tell stories and to write 10 to 12 cuts. And I still like doing that. That's just a question of where I come from. I mean, in the old days, in the 30s and 40s and 50s, especially the 50s, people would record 1 song as 78,
actually.
And maybe put out 3 songs and
whatever.
then put out an album when they had 4 hits or 5 hits,
Yeah.
So in a kind of way, we're going back to that.
I think so, yeah. Just that selling of hardware is still a problem, because that was always the thing until the digital age, like a LP or CD or whatever. Like,
well, you know what really it comes down to, Nicola, is the artist's expectation. If you expect what you can't have, you'll be crushed and you won't want to do it anymore. But if you understand how the music business works today, the attention span of people have 5,000 or 6,000 cuts on their iPhone that they could access on Spotify or Pandora. So, we've greatly devalued the coin, but there are those people who appreciate good songs, good art, good performances, and you write it for those people.
Yeah, exactly. I really think so. Yeah, and I like the fact, and I respect that you're still up to date. And I mean, you have to in a way, but that kind of a level of understanding is really, really nice.
My brothers and I started recording new school in the 80s when the computers just came out. The Apple computer just came out. Of course, it was really slow, but we learned it. And so today I can freely move from recording old school, having a band and recording the band, or absolutely new school, which is all samples, all software. And all through computers and all that. I'm easily comfortable with either or a mixture of both. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And thank you for these answers. We actually can't wait to hear some new material. But speaking of something new, let's serve the main dish, as we like to say, and talk about your new upcoming gig. So stage is yours, please.
Yes, it's going to be at the Odeon on the 19th. And it's a fantastic theater. I just was visiting it, and they're just finishing it.
Do you like the acoustics there?
Oh, it's beautiful. I mean,
awesome.
the acoustic, it should sound unbelievable there. It should sound like a big stereo system. They're doing a fantastic job on the theater,
Nice.
and the lights and sound are amazing. I think people will be in for a real treat, and we're actually recording, filming that night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it'll be a special,
I
very
have no clue
special
about
night.
that. Awesome.
It's going to be
awesome.
called Live at the Odeon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. Such an honor to have you here, and even bigger honor to have it recorded.
Well,
yeah,
Ivan
awesome.
and Pink Media, invited me to do this. They wanted to showcase the theater, and they wanted me to help showcase the new theater. And I said, yes, I'll bring my band, and let's do a gig there, and we'll record it.
Awesome. Do you have any gigs near to Serbia or close to Serbia?
No, we just came for this.
No.
For this, because I'm also shooting 2 videos here for the new record.
Oh, awesome. You're becoming Serbian, Gino, I think.
Well,
Slowly but
the
securely,
food is so
you know.
good. I think I might.
It is. It is. Beware of that.
You know,
but yeah.
I think Serbia rivals Italy.
In food?
Yes, it does. It really does.
Ooh, I think you should go to Greece as well.
Really?
Yeah, when I tried the Greek seafood, I was like, it's maybe better than Italian. But it's,
Okay.
yeah, Greece or some Greek islands or something like that. Really,
I haven't
really
been,
nice.
but we will.
Yeah, there's a reason Freddie Mercury had a house there. So,
Yes.
so awesome. Okay, so it's September 19th.
Yes.
Odeon Theater.
Yep.
Gino Vannelli, finally again in Serbia, and I'm sure it will be packed completely. And it's really nice to hear
We have
that,
a
that you like the sound.
12 camera shoot.
12 cameras shooting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's like a cherry on the top. We
Yep.
even have a video material of that.
Yep. It's going to be historical.
Yeah, biblical, as some might say. Okay, I'm really glad because the first time you were here,
Yeah.
I was really happy and I wanted to come. But being a musician, you know how it goes. I had a gig.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
so
Yes.
I'm praying to the gods that I'll be freed this time. Thank you a lot, and we'll definitely check out your new material when it.
Thank you. Yeah,
when it
the new
comes
album
up.
is called The Life I Got.
Yeah. Do you have a release date or something, or not
The
yet?
first single is coming out November 1st.
Okay.
And then the album comes out February 7th.
We'll definitely cover that, and
Thank you.
I can't wait.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for being our guest. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Nicola. And the
And-
answer is Melody Gardot.
I wanted to ask you that. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so thanks, all the best wishes, and I guess see you at the gig, and we would like to see you more often here, I think.
Thanks, Nicola.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.